What's going on? You know who it is. You know what it is. It's your boy Town. All right, man. So, once again, I got a chance to look at the highlight reels of David Benavidez versus Demetrius Andrade. David Benavidez was very impressive, and his gentleman's domination of Demetrius Andrade. Pretty much after the middle of the third round, it was just pretty much all downhill for, Demetrius Andrade. And I see people once again making videos trying to downplay what happened. To a certain degree, we got to stop doing this. We got to stop when somebody that we may not be fond of wins in dominant fashion, try to downplay the opponent that he beat. At the end of the day, people can sit up there and say that Demetrius Andrade hadn't fought nobody, so why should we give David Benavidez all this credit? At the end of the day, we keep it 100 if we really try. Like it or not, a lot of people duck Demetrius Andrade. Now, some people can sit up there and criticize the style, how he fights, but he gave us a good fight for as long as it lasted. He gave us two good rounds. He fought. He had a decent game plan to basically counter, pick his spots and initiate enough offense to keep the crowd into the fight. And he did. But unfortunately, David Benavidez saw something that he could exploit. He started to push forward, and he basically started to impose his will. He ended up catching Demetrius Andrade. He ended up dropping him, and then basically it was an onslaught from there on till they basically called a halt to the fight. Now, in a couple of weeks, I'll be covering the Devin Haney-Regis Prograis fight in the Bay Area, my neck of the woods. But let's see if Mauricio Sullivan holds true to his word. At the end of the day, this dude will say one thing, then he does another. Now, if all of a sudden he says, well, Canelo will order the fight after Canelo fights Jaime Munguia, then there you have it. Now, you heard that Canelo has been in negotiations to fight Jaime Munguia, which will be slated for May of 2024. But if I'm Mauricio Sullivan, and if he stayed true to his word, they should demand that Canelo fights David Benavidez. They need to keep their word, and they need to honor their word and say, hey, no, you got to fight this dude. You said you was going to fight him, so now you got to fight him. You got to fight the dude. I think nobody wants to hear these legion of excuses anymore on why this fight can't happen. I think people are tired of it. The fans have grown frustrated with hearing these excuses on why this fight cannot happen. At the end of the day, nobody believes that Jaime Munguia has a chance versus Canelo. Jaime Munguia will be a punching bag for Canelo. It'll be the same results as Julio Cesar Chavez versus Canelo, where Julio Cesar Chavez just stood up there and just was a punching bag for Canelo. He was basically a heavy bag. So at this point, do anybody want to see Canelo in another fight that he's going to be an overwhelming favorite? At least with the David Benavidez fight, it'll be a lot of intrigue. But me, myself, I would favor David Benavidez to beat Canelo. And I was talking to one person, and, at the end of the day, sometimes you just got to bypass people when they said that they don't think David Benavidez is all that. Well, I never thought Canelo was all that. Because to be honest with you, Canelo, you can make an argument that Canelo should have 4 losses. So, I'm just keeping it a buck. You look at Canelo in the Caleb Plant fight. Caleb Plant was doing very well against Canelo. Whether you want to believe it or not, or you want to be a Canelo stan. Canelo ended up winning the fight. He caught Caleb Plant. Fine. But my thing is with Mauricio Sullivan and the WBC. Enough time has went by. Enough is enough. It's just time to make this fight happen. They said that whoever won out of Demetrius Andrade and David Benavidez would be Canelo's mandatory. So David Benavidez is the mandatory for Canelo, so he has to fight David Benavidez. And if Canelo refuses to fight David Benavidez, he should be stripped of the title. No excuses. We don't want to hear, well, you know, I've already signed to fight Jaime Munguia, which I think they may speed up the process. I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo tried to speed up the process to fight Jaime Munguia, because he doesn't want to lock it up with David Benavidez. So if I see Mauricio Sullivan, which he should be in San Francisco because that's a WBC title fight, so I'm going to try to find him and apply pressure and at least ask him, are you going to stay true to your word and mandatory Canelo versus David Benavidez and demand that he fights David Benavidez or strip him of the title? So we'll see. Anyway, this your boy Town. I'm out.